It's time. No more to where, no matter where to run, nowhere to hide, no more ducking pressure. This is where all the playing hard, all the playoff wars count. We're going into the NBA finals. The Boston Celtics, who I'm sure most people expected in this position, versus the Dallas
Yeah.
Mavericks, who I certainly didn't expect to be this good, but here they are. It's gonna be essentially Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown versus Kyrie and Luka, even though both teams have proven to be good. Head to head this year, Jason Tatum and Luka both averaging 35 points. Jason Tatum's 35, 9 and 4. Luka's 35, 15 and 12. Sammy, who's your gut? Who's your gut feeling? And how many games? Who wins the NBA championship?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. This shit's gonna be tough, Dave.
It's gonna be a war.
It's gonna be a tough series.
It's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, I expect full 7 games.
Nice.
I definitely expect, both duos to give some type of, special, out of this world performances from each and every single one of them. I'm gonna lean on the Celtics in that 7 games. I think when it comes down to it, I'm gonna lean on them just a little bit, but that's only because I just have more trust in who their role guys are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I already know come playoff time, Horford can give me some out of nowhere 20-something in like 10.
Yeah.
Holiday can give me some out of nowhere 20. You know what I mean? Derek White, he already proved he can give me some out of nowhere, random 20-something where he's just flashing from 3.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen these guys do different types of things in spots. So that's the only reason why I'm going to lean on the Celtics in this one. But I think they're going to be in trouble. Because honestly, I think they're going to get, in terms of the duo, I think they're going to get outplayed.
All right. No, that's a fair way to put it. Because look, if I'm being real, if we're going through 1 through 15 roster, Boston's the better team.
Right.
For sure. I trust their role players more too. But I think it's more complicated than that. I think these teams are it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a war. I won't be surprised if it goes all out 7. I'm rooting for an all out 7. I love a game 7. And Boston would have the home court advantage. So I do think that they have some upsides and they have some things going for them. But I want to highlight with the last thing you said. I do expect them to lose this dual battle. It's not that I expect Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to play bad. I just think Luka and Kyrie have found the formula. They've found the formula that's very similar to LeBron James and Kyrie, if not good. So they've really found that formula. They've got the momentum at the right time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with the Dallas Mavericks in 6. I think they found the formula. They've got momentum at the right time. And I think those defenders, those big men defenders we're not talking about them because they're not stars, but Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, who are big bodies to protect the rim and rebound and catch lobs and easy alley-oops. They've been big for the Mavericks this playoff. So I don't know, even with the Porzingis coming back, I don't know if they could match their physicality with the big men on the inside from a defensive perspective and from a toughness perspective. But I think I expect all the stars to show up. But I think Kyrie and Luka, their combination of how they show up, it's going to be too strong. And I especially if you could get a guy like PJ Washington hitting his shots again, because against the Clippers and OKC, he was hitting his shots. If you could get him hitting his shots, then it's going to be scary. But I'm going to say Mavs
No,
in 6.
that's a good call. That's definitely a good call because it's like they got the younger big men, so that's the better legs. They're gonna move better. You know, they should be.
Too.
They should be. You know, yeah, like because Boston. Let's be honest. You're dealing with Luke Cornett, Kristaps Porzingis. They can get out tough.
Yes.
Like those two dudes can definitely get out tough. You know, they can get pushed around. You know, let's just call a spade. They're just tall white guys.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna call it down the middle.
It is becoming a white guy league.
They're just tall white guys. At the end of the day, they're tall white guys. So, like I said, but that's the thing though. I expect somebody like Horford, you know, dig down deep. I expect him to come up with a rabbit out of his hat, you know, and he that might help them get saved for a game. Derek White, I expect a rabbit out of his hat.
Yeah,
he might
Derek
get
White. I don't know what's gotten into him, but
that's what
did not look like this on the San Antonio Spurs.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. Like every few games, he might just like shock you and 5 3-pointers up, and then he next thing you know, he got 25 for the game. So I expect these things to come in spots, you know. But I do expect Kyrie, especially because this is his old team, the team that was talking the most shit about him, you know, since all his things been going on, you know. Luka, I expect him to be highly motivated because of all the rumors that what him and KP when that breakup happened.
Yeah.
So I expect in terms of duo, I expect them to get outplayed. I really do.
There is some breakup story.
Nothing.
Sure.
I think that's exactly why they constructed it and did it that way.
KP's facing his old team that they said he quit on, and Kyrie quit on the Celtics.
This is very
good stories within.
This is very WWE like.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. I love a good narrative. I'm not mad. But here's what I can't help but feel. If you really look at the how the Mavericks has been beating people so far, for the most part, they blew out the Clippers, I think, a few times. But for the most part, if you look at the Clippers, the OKC, and what they just did with the Timberwolves, these games, when it comes down to the fourth quarter, matching bucket for bucket, Boston cannot let them go bucket for bucket. If Boston is going to beat them at all, they got to beat them at least by 8 to 10 points per game. Because if you let it get close in the fourth and you're trying to match fourth quarter scoring with Luka and Kyrie, I find it very hard to believe that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown could go bucket for bucket in a close game. And that's not a knock on them. It's just the way the playoffs have went so far. You don't want a close fourth quarter game and go bucket for bucket with Luka and Kyrie. They're gonna have to beat them by at least 10 each game. You can't keep it close.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's the difference between Boston and those other teams that you named. Those other teams don't got the depth that Boston has. They don't have the depth that Boston has. Like they don't have the clutch ability from the role guys that Boston can get. You know, I think that's the difference. That's why I started it off bringing up all those other names, because these other names have showed they can save you on a night. They can save you if they're feeling right, if they're moving right, if they got the opportunity, they can save you. You know, when you look at the Timberwolves, who are they really going to get any saving from? You know, once Edwards was shaky, who's saving him? Who got his back? You know what I mean? Shea, who got his back? If he's having a bad night, who got his back? Well, there's not one reliable name you can think of.
I'll give you that for OKC, but I think we're undervaluing Mike Conley a little bit and Jaden McDaniels. with the seasons and playoffs they've had. They can get you a burst of 18 to 20 at times.
Yeah, no,
they just got outplayed.
They can, but the difference with Boston is you can get it in a barrage.